Yeah, this poor man's just leaning on this wand. He's so tired. So I'm seeing a lot of tiredness here. I'm seeing exhaustion actually. But I think you knew the worst was over at this time and you could finally start to move forward. This is about determination as well. It's like this, despite the odds, they're all there up against me, but I'm determined. I'm going to move forward anyway, even if I'm tired. I think for a long, long time, I think you might have been going down the wrong path. I think you were going down the wrong path with the wrong person, maybe. And I think part of you knew that, I think things definitely didn't feel right. But I think maybe, when you're with this person, whenever you had any doubts, they always manage to reassure you in some way. I'm actually seeing them, someone who downplays things. They might have made you second guess yourself a few times as well, someone like that. Because I'm seeing head games, because this man has a bandage around his head. So that indicates, head games, mind games to me. So someone was messing with your head a bit, I think. And so now at this time, I think you were just feeling a little bit like this man, not wanting to go back at all, just kind of looking forward, but just really tired. I actually think there might have been an incident that kind of changed everything for you. It was like you're going along and you sort of knew something wasn't quite right or whatever, and then something just appeared almost right in front of your face, and then you just couldn't ignore it anymore. It was like, I can't keep going. This is it. I have to leave. I can't stay with this person. I can't stay in this situation anymore. It's right in front of my face now. And so, here you are. You're coming forward now. You're a bit battered and bruised like this man, but at least now you're on the right track. And I'm also getting a feeling that you might have been a little bit angry with yourself, actually. Not because any of this was your fault. It wasn't. But I think you might have been angry with the time you wasted. I'm just getting this feeling of, I wasted so much time on them. I spent all these years on them, or all this time on them, or whatever, however long it was. I hope you're not still feeling like that anymore, because there's no point in looking back. You can't get that time back. It's already gone. All you can do is look forward. You have so much still ahead of you. And I think you were doing that. You were looking forward, but you weren't quite in full force yet. You were still looking back a bit. You're still analysing things, but I'm not seeing you wanting to go back. Look at the landscape behind this man. If you can see it, you can just see the top of it. You can just see the little bottom of the landscape right there. It's full of these jagged rocks. It's barren. There's no water there. There's no trees. There's nothing growing there. No grass. Nothing. So there's nothing growing. There's nothing growing there. There's nothing that's going to develop for you if you go back. So you know that there's no love, there's no growth. There's no point in going back there, and you know that, and you knew that at that time, at this time, I should say. So, so the next card you have your past is the Eight of Wands. Yeah. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing. You suddenly saw something. It came in front of you, or it just appeared, or you saw this thing, and that was it. It was like there was no way you could go back. There was no way they could excuse whatever this was. And often this card can be about messages or social media, things like that, because it's about communication through the air. There aren't any people on this card. So I think you probably saw some kind of a message, or maybe it was something on social media, and this was something you saw happening before it had ended. So whatever was going on was still going on when you found out about this. These ones haven't reached their destination yet. They're still flying in the air. They're not down on the ground yet. So, I don't think you found out after the fact. It was while it was happening that you saw this. That's what I'm seeing. So I hope that makes sense to you. But yeah, nobody could make any excuses after this, not them and not you, because I think you did make a few excuses for them while you were still with them. No more. There was no excuses. No one could argue with what was there, what was in front of your face. That's what I'm seeing. The last card you have your past, the Knight of Swords. Yes. Yeah, okay, this is really heavy. This is really difficult. I think there are also other people around this, sort of in the aftermath of this. I think, when you ended things, when you separated from this person, there were people kind of hovering around, causing a bit of drama. I'm seeing one person sort of trying to make things look as if it was all your fault or something ridiculous. And it is ridiculous because it wasn't your fault. Don't ever think it was, even for a second. Don't ever think that. It's a bit strange, actually, because this person who was making things out to be your fault, or they were trying to, I think they were really upset by this whole thing. I'm seeing family here as well. Might have been a parent, it was some family member. Yeah, they were upset with this whole situation, and yeah, they were really disappointed. They were disappointed in this person who'd done this thing. Yeah, a close relative. This is a close relative. And it was like, I think the hurt was just too much for them, so they turned this into anger. I don't think they could quite believe what this person had done. I think, it was probably easier for them to live with the illusion that it was you that was the problem, and so they turned it onto you. Yeah, I think this misguided anger came out of hurt and heartbreak, actually. There's a little red heart just behind this horse's eye. And, I also think this was out of character for this person to kind of be so dramatic. This is a white horse, so, usually they're quite, their intentions are quite good. So you saw a totally different side to this person, this relative, when this all happened. I have to say, if this is all resonating with you, I'm really glad you're away from this whole drama and everything and the family and everything. Yeah. I hope that all made sense as well, because I think it was a little bit confusing. I hope it did. So yeah, you're well away. You're well away from them. I'm glad you are. Yeah, so the first card you have your presence, the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, this is a really clear indication that you've done the right thing. You have done the right thing. You're moving in the right direction. You are going in the right direction. That's what I'm seeing in this card. This wheel looks a little bit like a ship steering wheel to me. So you're steering your life back in the right direction. And if you've ever seen a ship turning around, sometimes it can take days. This is, if it's one of these huge, great, big, enormous ships, like a big cruise ship, it could take a long, long time for it to turn around in the opposite direction. So be patient with yourself. You're heading in the right direction, and you're not going to suddenly be 100% better in a day or a week even. It's going to take time. So just let it happen. Just go with the flow of what's happening. And yeah, I don't say this very often because people have different understandings of what this means sometimes, but this can be a karmic wheel, this Wheel of Fortune. What goes around comes around and all of that kind of thing. So I actually think this relative of this ex, this person I was seeing in the Knight of Swords, I actually think they might have tried to contact you. I don't think you spoke to them, or it might be happening now. They might be about to contact you, or they are now, or something, because this is in the present. But I think you're guarding yourself like the Sphinx on the top of this wheel. And when they come around to talk to you, you're going to have your guard up, or you have. I'm not sure when this happened or if it's happened yet. And they're not getting the answers. They're not getting the answers they want from you. They might not be getting any answers. And then because of that, I think they're just left with this whole thing. They're just going to be sitting with this thing. They're going to be in their own thoughts. They're going to be processing everything by themselves. And it's really going to be hard for them. I also think they might have enabled this person, if this is a relative or if this is a parent or, a sibling. They've enabled this person, and now they're having to deal with the results of enabling this person. So that's what I'm seeing there. So I hope that makes sense. So the next card you have your presence, the Star. Okay, so if this is all resonating with you, and if you're single, obviously, you're probably not ready for all of this, but this is what I'm seeing is going to happen. It might be happening now, it might happen sometime in the future. So there is someone else, they're around you now, they are interested in you. I am seeing them approaching you. Okay, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this clearly now. Okay, I hardly ever talk about timelines, but I'm seeing this really clearly. I think you're going to be approached within the next 2 weeks by this person. Now, I think your feelings toward this person aren't going to be the same as their feelings toward you. But I don't think that's because you don't like them. I'm just seeing you feeling really, really strange. It's a really odd feeling around this whole thing. But I think you probably feel a bit odd or strange about any new relationship. You just won't be ready. You're going to be feeling like, oh no, it doesn't feel right. And if you look at the woman on this card, she's obviously naked, and that can mean a few different things depending on the cards around it and whatever else is going on in the reading. So I'm seeing vulnerability in this card. She's a woman alone, and we're watching her from a high point, from a high perspective. It's almost as if we're stalkers. So we're not, but don't worry, this person isn't a stalker either, so you don't have to worry about that. They're not a stalker. But yeah, you just won't feel ready. You just won't feel right. You'll get this feeling in your stomach that's like, oh no, don't want that right now. That's the kind of feeling I'm getting, not ready. So the last card you have for your presence, the Four of Cups. So yeah, here it is again. You're not going to accept this offer, I don't think. It's just going to be too soon for you. You're just going to sit there and say no. I'm also seeing other options coming up for you. They're not love options. There's one really interesting offer ahead of you, and I think it's around something you've been interested in, maybe as a hobby, or maybe it's something you'd secretly like to be doing full time, but maybe you haven't had the time or the opportunity to even think about whatever this is, doing this properly. Now, I know you're still sort of recovering from a lot, and maybe you don't feel in the mood for parties or going out, and I can understand that. But I am seeing an invitation or an offer to go somewhere. And if you do get an invitation or something like that, definitely say yes. No matter how you feel, say yes, because I think this might lead to a conversation or a meeting where you'll be able to showcase your skills in whatever this is. It's small, it's a small opportunity, but it's something that's really worth doing for you. It can lead to bigger things. I don't know if this is music, but that's what's popping into my head for some reason. It might not be, it doesn't have to be music, but that just came into my head. Whatever this is, look out for invitations. Say yes if you get one. Definitely say yes. That's what I'm seeing in that card. The first card you have, you features the Knight of Cups. Okay, so just be aware of someone coming back to you to give you some kind of peace offering maybe, or to reach out in some way. I'm not seeing an apology. I'm not seeing this axe either. I think it actually might be someone around them. It might be this relative that I'm seeing in the Knight of Swords, and maybe that's why they were coming up in the past in this reading, to kind of warn you, to remind you of what they've done to you. So if they come up again, you can say, oh, I remember that. No. That's what I'm seeing. So the thing is, okay, maybe you shouldn't listen to me because I'm still kind of angry with them. I don't even know them, but I am. If this is this relative, there's no apology here. I'm not seeing that at all. And I think if they want to talk to you at all, they should at least apologise, because there was an accusation around this. They said it was your fault. That's what I'm seeing. And it wasn't your fault. It is not your fault. I'm actually sensing a lot of negativity around this, because I think even if they change their behaviour, I think they probably still want to kind of talk about this old relationship with you and rake over those things again. And you just don't need it. There's no point in you dragging all that up again. It's just going to set you back emotionally again, and you don't need that. So, of course, whatever you decide is up to you. But that's my feeling around that negativity. So, if this person comes and says, oh, I want to kind of talk to you and blah, 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 I'm not getting a good feeling around it. Let's just say that. So the next card you have, you features the Eight of Swords. Yes. Again, you don't need this. You don't need any of these discussions about this old relationship dragging up again. Don't let anything or anyone trap you back in the past, in your mind or in your emotions. Don't get your mind wound up in all of that again. You don't want anything stopping you from moving forward. You're so strong. Look at the Nine of Wands. You're really determined. Don't go back there again. I'm also seeing in this card someone who you probably should be reaching out to. I'm seeing a friend here. I think you might have lost contact with this person, and I think you might have lost contact while you were with this ex, maybe. I don't think you had a falling out. There are a lot of people who you probably drifted away from, I think, at that time. I think they'd really love to hear from you, actually, but I think you might have to be the one to make the first move here. I think they might have been the last person to message you, maybe. You might not have seen the message, or it might have got lost in a whole lot of other messages or something. I don't know how old it is, but if this is making any sense to you at all, contact this person, because I'm seeing you becoming quite close to them again if you do. And even though you're probably still like feeling alone at this time, you probably still will be while you're in this recovery time, you know, I think they'd be a really, really good person to have around you. You know, they're a really loyal person, they're a trustworthy person. But I think you might have a kind of a barrier of, you know, because I think you lost touch with a whole lot of people, and you might be thinking, oh, you know, they're probably mad at me, they probably won't want to hear from me, you know, they don't want me bothering them, they'll probably hang up on me or whatever, they'll probably block me. They won't do that, especially this person. You know, you're letting all your feelings and your words and everything form a barrier between you and some people, or this one person who can really, really be a good friend of yours. So I think, you know, make that move, talk to them, reach out to them. That's what I'm seeing. The last card you have, you features the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, I think this is a message or some kind of reminder. I think this is about this hobby, this thing, or whatever it is, this interest you have in the Four of Cups with this opportunity. Even if this doesn't work out, this opportunity, it's probably time for you to start picking this up again, because there's a lot of energy around this. You know, I'm seeing some other possible opportunities coming up around this as well. You know, they might not be paid ones, but, you know, they might lead to other things. There might be a stepping stone, or they might be a way of getting more experience or more exposure, or whatever this is. You know, I'm not seeing you suddenly becoming an overnight success or anything like that, but get ready, be ready for anything that's about to come up, because, you know, I don't want to sound cringy, but work makes work. You know, the more you work and the more energy you put into things, the more energy you get out. And I keep on seeing a lot of opportunities, a lot of interest, a lot of people talking about this thing that you're doing. It might be a trend that starts picking up soon or something. So, you know, you have the Four of Cups in this reading as well, and that can be about missed opportunities. So be ready, you know, brush up on your skills, practice, get ready, talk to people, you know, make sure you're kind of, you know, take whatever this thing is out, if it's up in a cupboard or whatever it is, you know, dust it off, just start working on this again and brush up on all your skills, talk to people, tell them what you're doing, let people know that you're doing this. There's a lot of energy, and I think this is going to start building around this thing. That's what I'm seeing. I hope that made sense. So Cancer, I hope this resonated. As you know, general readings can't always resonate with every single person, but yeah, if you like this reading, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if you'd like to, and yeah, thank you so much for watching.